Previously on Mr. Beer Goes Horribly Wrong.
So for $6, I'm going to make 9 quarts of beer. Personally, I drink Pabst Blue Ribbon and Bud Light very frequently, so I'm not going to mind how a Mr. Beer tastes of sugar. So of course I put 2 cups of sugar in because I like alcohol. It had an expiration date printed on it, and the expiration date said best use by August 11th, 1996. Were good. I supplemented the Mr. Beer yeast with some baker's yeast. I added about a cupful of shredded coconut. I dry coconutted it. Bottoms up. Yeah, that tastes kind of awful. But it has sort of like a burnt, like charcoal kind of flavor. And it does taste very yeasty. Sort of tastes like the flavor in your mouth when you burp after you've been eating a lot of breadsticks or something. It's, wow, it's gross. That said though, I could actually kind of get used to this, to drinking. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, 15-year-old ingredients, Mr. Beer. If I get sick and end up in the hospital for drinking this because there's some sort of E. coli or salmonella in it, I'll make sure that I make a hospital video, and you can see me. Maybe I'll make a video of myself puking later on after I get sick from drinking this, and then we can film my funeral after I die from rancid beer poisoning. Greetings and salutations. Mike Jewell here. Back again to give this brewing thing another try. It's been, I don't know, 14, 15 months since Mr. Beer went horribly wrong, that failed first attempt at brewing. So, you know, I've been practicing, got 100 gallons or so under my belt, so I'm going to give it another try, and I want to demonstrate to everyone on YouTube the best way to make use of your Mr. Beer home brewing kit. And here you have it. You can fill it with Star San and then slosh all your other crap around in it so it's sanitized for your real brew project. I haven't brewed in this thing for forever. I don't really use it anymore except if I want to experiment with a really small tiny batch. In that case it is kind of nice to have a little tiny fermenter. But if we pan out here, you can see this is my new fermenter, and this holds a little over 15 gallons, so that's what I brew with now. Let's go upstairs and see what's going on upstairs. Yeah, so we got some strike water heating up here on the stove, and then back here we got the old brew in a bag partial mash going. Got a nice warm steep of grain. I'm making a pale ale I made once already in a 5-gallon batch. We're going to do 15 gallons this time. And I got 12 ounces of Munich malt, 12 ounces of Victory, 40 ounces of Crystal, or 12 ounces of Crystal 40, and 12 ounces of Crystal 20. So it should be kind of caramelly, golden colored. And then of course I have I'm not all grain yet, guys, but I got a ton of DME, and when we're done we should have something that's about 5.5% alcohol. Alright, some time has passed. We are done with the mash. I've mixed in like 12 pounds, 13 pounds of DME, and now we've got the boil going with our bittering hops. Alrighty. Alright, some more time has passed, and I just threw the flavoring hops in. Give this about 15 more minutes, and then I'm going to put in the aroma hops and some Irish moss. Alright, just put in a tablespoon of Irish moss and the aroma hops. Sweet. Next step, after this boil's finished, we're going to put her in the fermenter. Alright, so now I've chilled my wort down. It's still quite hot. It's probably about 160 degrees. But that's hot enough not to melt the plastic so much. So now I'm transferring my wort into my fermenter. And then, I already cold crashed it a little bit with ice, but like I said, it's still too hot to pitch yeast. But it will cool down significantly as it filters into the primary. And then to cold crash it further, obviously this is not as big as this, so I'm still going to have to make up the 15-gallon difference in this, the difference between my boil, which is about 7 gallons, and my batch, which is about 15. I'm going to have to make up that difference in water. So when I add a few gallons of cold water, it should cold crash me all the way. Alright, but there you go, that's what's in works now. Very different from the days of Mr. Beer. Yep, and gonna have to top that off with water, but just to show you, I use this is a polypropylene filter material. It's made for the air conditioning trade. You can cut it to any size you want, and it's supposed to filter the air. But just so you can see, that's all Irish moss, cold break protein, escape bits of hops, hulls, little bits of hull from the malt, just a lot of particulate stuff. And you're going to have clearer beer in the long run if you siphon your beer through a filter media. And I do it when I transition from the boil pot into primary, and also when I rack from primary to secondary. I like to do another stage of filtration. It just really ensures that you have nice clear beer. Now you don't have to do that, especially if you're making a wheat beer or something that is traditionally sort of cloudy. You don't have to. But I just wanted to share that one little thing with you. Alright, thanks. Alright, so now we got it topped off. I got the blow-off tube installed. It's going to be a little bit too active for an airlock, I think. Let's check the temperature. We're at 86.4 degrees. Yeah, that guy's nice and fat, ready to pitch. Let's pitch that bad boy. You get some very active primary fermentation going on here. Alright, so it's been only about a week. It's a short secondary, but I'm having a housewarming party tomorrow and I need beer. So I'm going to keg 2 of these. You can see here. La 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 la. We got beer siphoning into the keg. And I got another keg, sterilized, sanitized, ready to go. And we're going to keg this one too. I'm going to try to leave this one racked for as long as I possibly can. Just because I want to get the best beer drinking experience possible. But we'll keg and carb these and then I'll do a tasting. Greetings and salutations. So now it is the moment we've all been waiting for, or at least the moment I've been waiting for, and we're going to taste this beer that I've been working on for the past, 3.5 weeks or so. So first things first, let's take a look at this. And that is pretty fantastically clear. That is some crystal clear beer. And like I said before, I owe the clarity of my beer to my whole filtration process. It is a filtered beer, but I don't work with pumps or anything elaborate. It's just simple gravity filtration. I let it trickle through that air conditioning filter media that you saw in earlier clips in this video. And a good bit of head. The head's subdued quite a lot, but you can see a lot of lacing really sticks to the glass. And I smell it, it's a real strong, malty caramel smell. And I put in Saaz and Fuggles are the main aroma hops, and they come through a little bit, but I gotta say I'm a little bit disappointed. This is not as hoppy of an aroma as I was going for. Certainly not as hoppy as as when I made this in a 5-gallon batch. But the way I do my 15 gallons, I dilute things down, and you really have to get a lot of hops in the boil. And my late addition was 15 minutes, consisted of 15 minutes of the total boil time. So maybe next time if I do this, I'll do a really late addition hop with, maybe I'll throw something in the last 5 minutes and not let it go so long, because I might have really boiled off a lot of my beta acids and other things. But it smells good. It doesn't smell bad. Let me give it a taste. I like it. I like it a lot. It is more bitter than I expected it to be. I'd say it's probably, I don't know, closer to 50, between 50 and 60 IBUs. I mean, I don't really have that sophisticated a taste bud, but it definitely tastes like a pale ale. Maybe almost I could call this an IPA. But it is I got the carbonation right, I think. It's a little warm still. It's not as, I didn't really give it enough time to chill down, but look at all that lacing. So you tell someone to look at lacing, and then the next thing you know, the battery on your camera dies. I don't know how much time I have left, but this is good. It's definitely better than my first Mr. Beer batch. More bitter, more hoppy than when I did this as a 5-gallon. So I don't know if I really need to do, so as I was saying, I don't really need to do as strong of a bittering hop combo as I did. I probably could have not used the Chinook at all, or only used half as much Chinook, because that's really what's coming through. I should have probably used the same amount as I did Chinook, but I should have done Northern Brewer or a different kind of bittering hop, maybe Magnum, I don't know. But it's good, I like it. I don't feel inclined to vomit. I don't see the need to go to the hospital. I don't taste any bread burps or anything of that nature. It's good beer. It's not my best, but it's good. I like it. So, cheers. I'm getting there.